Okay, so this is a graph that shows how homelessness is caused by government decisions around welfare and around how many units of social housing they build. And it's a graph that goes from right here, from 1980, clear down to 2014 today. And as you can see, the numbers on it are 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 3,000 here. So in the 80s, you can see there are some, I should also say this blue here that looks like a mountain range is the amount of social housing units that have been built in the city of Vancouver. And the red bars are the amount of homelessness for each of the homeless counts. So the other thing you need to know is that in 1980, welfare rates were $320 a month, which in today's dollars is $940. So welfare rates today are $610. So there was a lot more purchasing power if you were on welfare in 1980, and you could actually afford to rent a bachelor apartment. So looking here in the 80s, this is the social housing that was being built. You can see there are some years where it was over 1,000 units a year. And in fact, the average from 1980 to 1990 is 767 units a year in the city of Vancouver, new social housing units. Then we get down to 1993, and this is where the federal government drastically reduced the amount of money they put into social housing. So you can see it kind of drops off. And then coming along here, it spikes up a bit in 1999 with provincial money here. And then down to 2001, the province drastically cuts back again. And so you can see there's not much here. And in 2002, the next year, the province actually changed welfare rules to make it really, really hard for vulnerable people to get on welfare. So that's when we had a huge spike in, this was when the first homeless count happened, when everyone started getting worried about homelessness. And then because of those welfare rules and because there was very little housing being built, homelessness really went up in 2005 to almost 2,000. And then by 2007, that was the last welfare increase. So that increase brought the shelter portion, that's the portion that people on welfare have for rent, is $375. That's all they can afford for rent. That was the last increase, so that's what the welfare rate is now. And that's also when the city bought 14 sites for housing, and the province agreed to fund them. So between 2007 and now, these 14 sites, which will build about 1,400 units, have made the 200 units a year is about what's being built. But homelessness has gone up. You see, 2008, it's 2,600. 2011, it's still 2,600. So we get to 2014, and we have the highest homeless count in Vancouver's history. Why is this? It's because there's hardly any social housing being built. It's because welfare rates are so low that people can't afford to pay rent. And there's another reason that isn't on this graph, and that's because the SRO hotels, mostly in the Downtown Eastside, are being upgraded, and the rents in them are being raised, and the low-income people, the people on welfare and disability who live in them, are being evicted. And so that's what's contributing quite a few hundred people to this, making this bar here so high. So it's renovictions in the SROs, low welfare rates, and not enough social housing being built.